I'll confess something as a woman. Beauty is dangerous. Men fall for looks and ignore the red flags that ruin their lives. And the truth? Some of the hottest women are also the ones who'll drain you, cheat on you, and leave you broken. I know, because I've been one of them. My friends have too. And your girl might be right now. Men think they're winning when they land a gorgeous woman. But if you pick the wrong type, you don't win. You lose years, money, peace, and dignity. I'm about to expose the 11 women you must avoid no matter how hot she is. And number 6, that's the one most men chase first and regret the most. The chaos addict. I need to confess something. I've been this woman. The chaos addict. The one who can't stand peace. Because peace feels boring. The man could be loyal, stable, perfect, and I'd still find a way to stir shit up. Why? Because drama is a drug. I've picked fights over nothing. I've accused him of things I knew weren't true. I've gone silent just to watch him panic. And when he broke down, when he begged for answers, when he started chasing me, I felt powerful. That's the hit we're addicted to. Here's the psychology. Some women can't survive without emotional chaos. If we're not crying, screaming, or storming out, we feel nothing. And if we feel nothing, we create conflict just to feel alive. Peace to us feels like death. So we'll sabotage it over and over until you're hooked on trying to fix what we keep breaking. The effect on you? You become her puppet. She controls your emotions like strings. 1 minute, she's loving. The next, she's cold. Then she's exploding, crying, apologizing, and seducing you all over again. It's a cycle. And you'll keep chasing the good side of her, not realizing she only shows it after dragging you through hell. I've done it. I've made a man cancel plans, lose sleep, and question his own worth, all because I needed the thrill of chaos. And you know what? He thought he was failing me. But the truth? There was nothing he could do. I wasn't looking for love. I was looking for drama. Here's your rule. If a woman thrives on fights, run. If she turns small things into explosions, leave. Because no matter how hot she looks, no matter how good the makeup sex is, chaos will bleed you dry. You don't win with a chaos addict. You only survive by walking away. But some women don't scream. They don't fight. They manipulate in silence. And that's the next danger, the attention junkie. I'll admit something ugly. There was a time when no man was ever enough for me. Not because he wasn't good, but because I needed the entire world to want me. That's what an attention junkie is. I'd be with a man who gave me loyalty, affection, and commitment. And still, I'd post thirst traps online. Still, I'd reply to random DMs. Still, I'd dress for strangers, not for him. Why? Because one man's love feels small when you're addicted to an audience. Here's the psychology. Attention to a woman like this is like oxygen. The likes, the stares, the validation, it hits like a drug. And like every addict, she'll always need a stronger dose. Today, it's Instagram. Tomorrow, it's flirty texts. Eventually, it's cheating. Not because she wants intimacy, but because she needs proof she's still desirable. The effect on you? You'll never feel secure. You'll always be competing with invisible rivals. The men in her comments, the guys at her gym, the coworkers she swears are just friends. You'll start lowering your standards, tolerating things you shouldn't, just to keep her attention on you for a few fleeting minutes. I've done it. I've been on dates, secretly refreshing my notifications under the table. I've walked into a room and craved every man's eyes on me, even while my boyfriend was standing right there. And I knew it crushed him. That was the point. It made me feel powerful. Here's your rule. If her phone gets more affection than you, leave. If she needs the crowd to feel alive, she'll never give you peace. A woman who's addicted to attention will never settle for love. She'll always chase validation. And you'll always come second. But sometimes it's not strangers she's chasing. Sometimes it's her past, the ex-worshiper. And that's the next trap. The ex-worshiper. I'll confess this. Men have taken me out, loved me, spoiled me, and all the while, I was still thinking about another man. That's what makes the ex-worshiper so toxic. You think you're building a future with her, but her heart is still chained to her past. I've done it. I've sat across from a new guy, smiling, laughing, nodding, while secretly comparing him to the man who came before. Did he say it the same way? Did he look at me the same? Did he touch me the same? And the worst part? Sometimes I'd even slip and say my ex's name out loud. Here's the psychology. Women who obsess over exes aren't looking for love. They're looking for replacements. You're not her man, you're her rehab. And the second her ex comes back, or she sees a chance to reconnect, she'll drop you without blinking. The effect on you? You'll feel like a placeholder. You'll notice the little things. How she still follows him online, how she brings up funny stories that always involve him, how her emotions swing when his name pops up, and you'll start competing with a ghost. That's the game. You'll fight for space in her heart, not realizing it's already occupied. I've been guilty of it. I've told one man he was different while secretly stalking another man's Instagram. At 2 a.m., I've used one man's affection to soothe the pain another left behind. And deep down, I knew it wasn't fair, but I didn't care. Because I wasn't really with the new guy. I was still chasing the old one. Here's your rule. If her ex's name lives in her mouth, if her past lives in her phone, if her closure never ends, leave. She'll never give you her heart because it's already spoken for. But the most dangerous woman isn't haunted by her past. She's weaponized her present, and she does it with her body. The bedroom manipulator. I need to admit something ugly. I've used my body as leverage. Not because I was in love. Not because I wanted him, but because I wanted control. That's the bedroom manipulator. She doesn't see sex as intimacy. She sees it as a weapon. I've withheld it. I've dangled it. I've given it just enough to keep him chasing, then pulled it away. The moment I wanted to punish him. It wasn't about connection, it was about power. And men fell for it every single time. Here's the psychology. Some women know men are biologically wired to crave sex. And instead of loving you with it, they ration it out like currency. Give a little to hook you. Withhold it to control you. Offer it again to reel you back in. It's not romance. It's strategy. The effect on you? You'll stop being her partner and start being her hostage. Your self-worth gets tied to her approval. You'll jump through hoops, spend money, swallow disrespect, just for the promise of intimacy she never really intends to give. And even if she does give it, it won't feel like love. It'll feel like a transaction. I've done it. I've made men apologize just so they could earn sex back. I've watched them twist themselves into knots, thinking they had to prove they deserved me again. And I loved it. Not because I loved them, but because I loved the control. Here's your rule. If sex feels like bargaining, you're not her man. You're her pawn. Love never comes with a price tag. And the moment you start trading respect for access to her body, you've already lost. But some women don't use their body to manipulate. They use weakness. They weaponize victimhood, and that's the next trap. The blame shifter, the eternal victim. I'll admit something most women won't. I've blamed men for things that were completely my fault. Why? Because it was easier to make myself the victim than to face the truth. That's what the blame shifter does. She hides her flaws by making you carry them. Every argument, your fault. Every mistake, your fault. Every breakup, definitely your fault. I've rewritten stories, exaggerated details, even lied, just to make myself look innocent. And men fell for it because they didn't want to seem cruel. They wanted to comfort me, not confront me. Here's the psychology. Victimhood is power. When a woman cries, when she breaks down, when she plays helpless, it disarms men. You rush to protect her, fix her, carry her pain, but you don't realize she's not broken, she's manipulating. By keeping herself as the poor, innocent victim, she keeps you in the role of rescuer. And rescuers don't leave. The effect on you? You'll become her emotional trash can. Every problem she has will be dumped on you. Every mistake she makes will somehow end up being your responsibility. And the longer you stay, the more you'll feel like the villain in your own relationship. You'll lose your peace, your confidence, and eventually your identity. I've done it. I've told one man I was traumatized so he wouldn't question my bad behavior. I've cried about toxic exes while hiding the fact that I was the toxic one. And you know what? He believed me. He stayed. He took my blame. And that was exactly the point. Here's your rule. If she never admits fault, if every story makes her the hero or the victim, leave. Because no matter how hot she is, she'll never change. And you'll spend your life paying for mistakes she'll never own. But at least the victim acts weak. Some women are worse. They act cold on purpose. The ice heart queen, and she's next. The ice heart queen, the trap men chase first. I'll confess something cruel. The men who chased me hardest weren't the ones I loved. They were the ones I froze out. That's the power of the ice heart queen. She looks like perfection on the outside, beautiful, elegant, wanted by every man. But inside, she's cold. She withholds love, intimacy, and warmth, and men can't resist the chase. Why? Because men confuse her coldness for mystery. They think if they just do more, buy more, prove more, chase harder, she'll finally melt. But here's the truth. She never melts. The game is the point. And the more you beg, the more she feeds. Here's the psychology. Men are wired to pursue what's scarce. And nothing feels scarcer than the affection of a beautiful, distant woman. That's why the ice heart queen is the one most men fall for first. They think they've won by getting her attention. But what they don't realize is that they've already lost because her love is starvation. And starvation doesn't stop until you're on your knees. The effect on you? You'll waste years trying to unlock a woman who was never locked. She was empty. You'll convince yourself that if you just become better, stronger, richer, she'll finally open up. But she won't. Because her beauty was never for love. It was bait. I've done it. I've ignored texts, starved men of affection, rationed out little crumbs of attention, and the colder I got, the harder they chased. They thought my silence meant they weren't enough. But really, my silence meant I didn't care, and they never saw it until it was too late. Here's your rule. If her love feels like starvation, leave. Because no matter how hot she is, she'll never feed you. She'll only drain you. And she'll make you regret the years you wasted trying to warm a woman who was frozen from the start. The walking time bomb? I'll confess this without shame. I've thrown things, screamed, slammed doors, and even threatened to leave. All because I wanted control. That's what the walking time bomb does. She doesn't argue to solve anything. She explodes to dominate. 1 minute she's sweet, the next she's unrecognizable. And here's the trap. That cycle of rage and apology is how she keeps you hooked. She blows up, you panic, she pulls away, then she comes back crying and clinging like nothing happened. That whiplash is the drug, and you'll get addicted to surviving it. Here's the psychology. Volatility creates fear, and fear makes men compliant. A man who's scared of his woman's anger stops leading. He walks on eggshells. He compromises his dignity just to avoid setting her off. That's the goal. The time bomb doesn't want peace. She wants you controlled by her chaos. The effect on you? You'll start losing your masculinity. You'll second-guess everything you say. You'll shrink. You'll stop being yourself, all because you're terrified of triggering her next explosion. And every time she shatters the peace, you'll accept her tears afterward as if they were love. But they're not. They're just part of the game. I've done it. I've broken a glass against a wall just to make him freeze. I've stormed out, leaving him begging me to come back. I've screamed so loud neighbors knocked on the door. And after all that, I'd crawl back into his arms crying, knowing he'd forgive me, because by then I had him trained. Here's your rule. If she can't control her emotions, she'll always try to control you instead. Don't confuse volatility with passion. Passion builds intimacy. Volatility destroys it. And a woman who explodes will eventually explode your peace, your dignity, and your life. But if you think instability is dangerous, wait until you meet the woman who doesn't want you at all. She just wants what you can give her. The gold digger of status. The gold digger of status. I'll confess the truth. I've dated men I didn't even like because they had the lifestyle I wanted. That's the gold digger of status. She's not chasing your heart. She's chasing your resources, your power, your image. I've smiled at men I wasn't attracted to. I've pretended to care while secretly caring only about where he could take me, what he could buy me, and how jealous he could make other women. To me, he wasn't a man. He was a ticket, a provider, a status symbol. Here's the psychology. Women like this aren't loyal to people. They're loyal to benefits. As long as you're shining, money flowing, status growing, lifestyle booming, she'll stay. But the second you slip, the second your shine fades, she'll vanish because she was never with you. She was with the lifestyle you created. The effect on you, you'll never feel secure. You'll always wonder, does she love me or does she love what I give her? And deep down, you'll know the answer. Because no matter how much you provide, she'll always want more. More trips, more bags, more upgrades. And the moment you stop delivering, she'll trade you in like a worn-out car. I've done it. I've dressed up for his events, smiled for his photos, bragged about him to friends, while secretly knowing I'd never marry him. Why would I? He wasn't my dream man. He was just my dream lifestyle. And when a shinier one came along, I didn't hesitate to walk. Here's your rule. If her excitement is about what you do more than who you are, she's not in love. She's in business. And business always moves on to the next best deal. But some women don't just chase status. They chase male attention. Not to upgrade, but to keep you insecure. That's the public flirt. The public flirt? I'll confess something ruthless. I've flirted with other men while my boyfriend was standing right there, just to watch his reaction. That's what the public flirt does. She doesn't need other men. She needs your jealousy. I've smiled too long at waiters. I've laughed too hard at friendly coworkers. I've posted pictures online designed to get male attention. And when my man got angry or insecure, I loved it. Because it proved I still had power over him. His jealousy wasn't a problem. It was my validation. Here's the psychology. Women like this are addicted to male competition. If every man wants her, she feels valuable. If you're nervous about losing her, she feels secure. It's backwards, but it's real. She doesn't flirt because she's bored. She flirts because she craves proof she's still desirable, even at the cost of your peace. The effect on you? You'll never feel safe. You'll start checking her phone, second-guessing her stories, questioning yourself. You'll feel like you're constantly competing for her attention, even though you're supposed to already have it. And the worst part? That's exactly where she wants you, on edge, insecure, and fighting for scraps. I've done it. I've left my phone face up on the table, waiting for her name to pop up in my notifications. I've told my boyfriend about funny conversations with other men just to see if he'd get jealous. And when he did, it gave me a thrill. Not because I wanted those other men, but because I wanted proof I could still shake him. Here's your rule. If she creates jealousy on purpose, leave. If she entertains male attention while claiming she loves you, she doesn't. Real love doesn't invite competition. It chooses, and it stays chosen. The public flirt isn't loyal to you. She's loyal to the spotlight. But some women don't just chase attention. They drain you completely. That's the emotional parasite. The emotional parasite. I'll admit something ugly. I've dumped my pain onto men and called it intimacy. That's what the emotional parasite does. She doesn't want partnership. She wants a host. And if you let her, she'll feed on you until there's nothing left. I've made men my therapist, my savior, my emotional punching bag. Every time I felt insecure, I unloaded on him. Every time I failed, I blamed him. Every time I broke down, I expected him to carry me. And the more he carried, the weaker he became. That's the cycle. The stronger you try to be for her, the more she drains you. Here's the psychology. Parasites don't love their host. They consume it. A woman like this isn't building with you. She's using you as a dumping ground for her trauma, her problems, her misery, and she'll call it connection. She'll say, "You're the only one who understands me." But in reality, she's just sucking out your peace and feeding her chaos. The effect on you? You'll lose yourself. Your goals will shrink. Your energy will vanish. You'll feel like you're drowning in her problems while neglecting your own. And the cruelest part? She won't thank you for it. She'll resent you for not doing enough. And when you're completely drained, she'll leave you for her next host. I've done it. I've broken down in tears, knowing he had an important meeting the next morning. I've demanded comfort, knowing he was exhausted. I've made him feel guilty for focusing on himself instead of me. And every time he gave more, and every time I took more, until there was nothing left. Here's your rule. If her happiness always depends on you, leave. A real partner adds to your life. A parasite only takes. And no matter how hot she is, you can't build with someone who feeds on your soul. But the final woman, she's the deadliest of them all. Because once she betrays you, she'll do it again. The serial backstabber. The serial backstabber. I need to confess something that men never want to hear. Once I stopped respecting him, cheating didn't feel wrong anymore. That's what the serial backstabber is. She betrays, justifies it, and then does it again. I've lied straight to a man's face. I've hidden messages, deleted photos, and snuck around. And when I got caught, I didn't feel guilty. I felt annoyed that he found out. I told myself it's his fault. He wasn't enough. He made me do it. That's how a woman like this survives, by rewriting betrayal as justification. Here's the psychology. Betrayal isn't a mistake. It's a pattern. A woman who cheats once and blames you will cheat again, because in her mind, she's never the problem. The thrill of getting away with it is addictive. And the more she repeats it, the less shame she feels. Cheating becomes part of her nature. The effect on you? You'll live in paranoia. You'll question every late reply, every girl's night out, every shift in her mood. You'll find yourself snooping, checking, doubting, until you hate yourself for not trusting her. And that's the trap. Because the serial backstabber doesn't want your trust. She wants your confusion. The more uncertain you are, the easier it is for her to keep playing. I've done it. I've gone back to an ex while in a relationship. I've kissed another man and convinced myself it didn't count. I've sat across from a boyfriend looking him in the eye while planning to meet someone else later that night, and I didn't feel guilt. I felt power. Here's your rule. If she's cheated before, she'll cheat again. Don't believe the tears. Don't believe the excuses. Don't believe the "it was just a mistake." Because loyalty isn't something you turn on and off. If she betrayed once, she'll betray twice. And the only way to win against a serial backstabber is to never play her game. Because at the end of the day, beauty fades, bodies change, but betrayal stays the same. And no matter how hot she looks, a woman who betrays will never be worth your respect. Now you see the truth. It doesn't matter how hot she is. It doesn't matter how good the sex feels, or how much attention you get walking into a room with her. If she's one of these women, the chaos addict, the attention junkie, the ex-worshiper, the bedroom manipulator, the blame shifter, the ice heart queen, the walking time bomb, the gold digger of status, the public flirt, the emotional parasite, or the serial backstabber, she will destroy your life. I know, because I've been some of them. I've watched my friends be the rest. And I've seen men crumble under the weight of chasing beauty without discipline. Here's the harsh reality. Men lose themselves when they ignore red flags. You see her face, her body, her smile, and you think you've won. But what you don't realize is that every toxic trait you excuse is the rope tightening around your own neck. The psychology is simple. Men are wired to pursue beauty. Women are wired to weaponize it when they want control. That's why the hottest women often test you the hardest. They don't want a man who falls for looks. They want a man who can see through it. And if you can't, you lose. The effect on you is devastating. You'll trade your peace for her chaos, your dignity for her validation, your purpose for her demands. You'll become weaker, smaller, drained, and broken, all while convincing yourself you're lucky to have her. That's how men get trapped. But here's the secret. Masculine power isn't in getting the hottest woman. It's in avoiding the wrong woman. It's in having the discipline to walk away when her beauty blinds you. It's in choosing respect over curves, loyalty over lust, peace over drama. Because true strength isn't in chasing, it's in filtering. The right woman doesn't make you weaker, she makes you stronger. She doesn't drain you, she adds to you. She doesn't play games, she invests in you. And you'll only find her if you have the self-control to reject the ones who will destroy you. Remember this, masculine energy doesn't fall for beauty. It commands respect. And the moment you demand respect first, beauty will chase you anyway. That's when you win. That's when you flip the script. And for every toxic woman you walk away from, here's the twist. She will regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually she'll realize she lost the man she couldn't control. And nothing haunts a woman more than knowing she'll never get that chance again. Hot doesn't mean safe. Sexy doesn't mean loyal. And if you want to protect your peace, your frame, and your future, you'll remember these 11 women, and you'll avoid them, no matter how hot they look. Now you know the 11 women who will ruin your life no matter how hot they are. And the truth is, I've been some of them. My friends still are. And the girl you're talking to right now, she might be one of them too, but this is only the beginning. Tomorrow I'll expose another secret. The games even the so-called good girls play. The ones you never see coming, the ones that break men without them even realizing it. So if you're serious about protecting yourself, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe right now. Because every day I'll be confessing what women never admit out loud. And remember, miss one and another man will hear it instead. And when he does, he'll be the one she obsesses over while you're left wondering what happened.